45 minutes, round one. That's the handshake, and the game begins. Looks like they'll be sharing a pair of dice. I think it's a good choice to make. Got leadership roles coming off of Maestro and Big Boss Hill, and I believe Ed did just mention he's choosing running shot with Thor. That's a beginning of the game effect. He technically doesn't have to choose it until the beginning of his turn one. But maybe that's changed. Witch Hunter Angela being carried forward by Big Boss Hill, moving into the center of the map. Maestro moves forward, picks up the light, and stepping into hindering. Big Boss Hill and Maestro are perplexing each other's defense up by 2 since they both have the leadership and perplex special. Baron of Battle Word, Baroness of Battle Word. So they've got boosted defenses. Which it's also a bit of an indicator on what pieces Scott is valuing most, and gives Ed an option to pick off the weaker, lower pointed pieces to gain a early point advantage.
25 teams? Sorry. Did you see 25 teams?
25 teams? There are 25 teams playing in today's Team Sealed. It's early. Yeah. And we appreciate all of you viewers tuning in this morning as we move through. The Team Sealed. 25 teams. That's amazing. I wonder if we get the buy round. Ooh. Ed conferring over his opponent's cards, trying to determine what all Scott's going to have available to him, so that he knows where best to move and how to make an attack. Oh, you're the best, most interesting. You're the most interesting, most interesting. Thank you for bearing with me as I solo cast this play-by-play. Ed's counting out squares. I think he might be thinking about moving up Odin to get the free range attack. They just started off big. He can see that Big Boss Hill has sidestep, hypersonic speed, and battle fury, but only if a friendly character has been damaged by an opponent's attack since your last turn. So if Ed can maybe come in and knock Big Boss Hill off of that special, having to get through a 20 defense, preferably 21 from range. He's counting his squares out, placing his tokens down, so he's figuring out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thor moving, carrying Nico Minoru, and Odin moving in, just out of range. Likely no chance at attack. Big Boss Hill can't use that hypersonic speed. Witch Hunter Angela has charge, so he's out of Scott's threat range, but he's definitely moving into position to be able to put some damage down. Nope, making an attack. 12 on a 16. Hits. So that is a KO. 12 for 5. Witch Hunter Angela 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be Odin coming in using his free range attack. Takes out Witch Hunter Angela and puts him up 45 points. This will activate Big Boss Hill's hypersonic speed Battle Fury, which means that she can close in, make a range attack, and maybe get out or close in. Having the Battle Fury, so it forces Big Boss Hill to close the gap and make an attack on somebody. He's moved up the Gunslinger. It's just off to the side, 20 points, right? Maybe give Scott a simpler target to attack and still having the counterattack available. He's got access again to Odin's leadership to maybe remove a token from Thor, which would then allow him to attack and maybe remove a token from Odin. Odin having power cosmic leaderships from Scott. Both will, I think, miss, but also be ineffective. That move and free range attack at 8 with the prop from Nico backing it up to one shot. Witch Hunter Angela really does put Ed up on the advantage. Especially considering that if Scott wants to utilize that speed special from Big Boss Hill, hypersonic speed, and Battle Fury, it really forces his hand to close the gap and make her vulnerable. Now, Maestro can maybe +2 her defense, so that she can move in relatively safely, but Ed's going to have a few attacks to be able to go and get a chance at breaking that 20. Maestro is perplexing up movement by 2. And Big Boss is perplexing up her own attack by 1. Seems like she's going to hypersonic in and grabbing the... No, ignoring that, but you can't. So he is going for the 20 points. The Gunslinger hits it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and he's got 6 squares left to move, which should get Big Boss Hill out of threat range from a counterattack. But Ed is still up on points, and Scott is going to be out of an effective threat range for the next turn, and Big Boss Hill is going to be double tokened. So yeah, Ed doesn't really have to do anything this next turn. He can just clear, but if Odin succeeds on his leadership, I have a feeling that Thor is going to go in for the attack, carrying Nico Minoru. Which, if he hits, then it's a token off of Odin. But Odin's out of a charge range, so leadership fails. The Thanos duplicate posting up is an 8, 11, 17, 3 with only sidestep. But he's got a 5 range. So yeah. Scott could use the perplexes to maybe boost up the duplicate and use him as an effective attacker that wouldn't be such a terrible loss if he were to die in a counterattack or be KO'd in a counterattack. Ed's counting out squares. He's seeing if he can't running shot with Thor to make an attack, and if he hits, um, right, Odin will have one less token. He'll have no token, but it also gets Thor efficiently and effectively out of the way for Nico to TK Odin into a range for charge to be able to finish off one piece or another. And with Big Boss Hill double tokens and no leadership next to her um, to relieve her of that, she's out of the game for the next round. So Ed might use this time to move in on Thanos duplicate, um, possibly even Maestro, um, to get a little bit further ahead on points. It's 45 for Witch Hunter Angela, and if he can take out the duplicate, that's 50, puts him up to 95. And even if Maestro comes back over the top and takes out Thor, it'll still be up by 15 points because that'll only net Scott 80 points total. We'll add in player points under their names. So Ed currently is scored 45, and Scott currently has 20 points. Exchanging their lowest level characters is the opening in the beginning of this game. Thor can't carry Nico to have the prop available for the attack. He's considering his options. Does he go after Big Boss Hill? Does he go after Thanos duplicate? I think he's not sure. Running shot. He's counting it out and moving to the heavy to gain any sort of hindering bonus that might be applicable. Taking a shot at Thanos duplicate. It's gonna be 11 on an 18. No, 11 on an 18. I think shooting through hindering. 11 on a 17. With toughness, which that would take. It would take duplicate down to click 3, which is 7, 11, 18, 4 with running shot, invulnerable, and probability control. So that's pretty solid. I think that Ed's definitely would want to follow up and try and get the KO, maybe using Odin with that 12-5. And still mulling over his options. Running shot. There's a judge call on whether or not Ed's going to have line of fire since there's an elevation change and a wall. But Big Boss Hill is sitting on the rim. But yeah, it's not that there's like a double elevation corner. She is on the rim and he's shooting up. Yeah. Line of fire is there. And so he's choosing to go after Big Boss Hill. 11 on an 18 because he's got the probability backup. It's a 7 hit, which is not extremely difficult. It's a good chance of good probability. And he hits with the 10. So that's going to hit Big Boss for 1, knocking her off of her speed special, which really reduces her effective threat range. Activating Odin's trait. Thor's hit, so he removes an action token from Odin. And now Nico's TKing, and Odin is going in, picking up the heavy, and making the charge to take Big Boss out of the game. This is a 12 for 7 on Big Boss's 17 invulnerable. And that is a hit. Taking 5 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. KO. That takes Big Boss out of the game. And nets Ed 110 points total. It was an excellent combo for Ed. Very fortunate that Odin only had to roll a 5, but it's very fortunate that attack hit. Now Maestro can one, two, three, four, five, six. Maestro could perplex up his speed and going on a charge against Thor. Thanos duplicate can sidestep and make a range attack. Knocks Maria off her hill. Yeah, the big boss has been brought down to size. Yeah. Maestro could perplex up his speed to get that 6 movement to be able to hit Thor. It's like Thanos duplicates can sidestep. Maybe take a shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Thor being vulnerable right now, sitting on a 17 toughness. Thanos duplicate can hit 3 damage, which isn't enough to. It's not enough to KO Thor. But it's the shot he's going to take. That hits. Yep. And it looks like Maestro used his perplex on Thor duplicate's attack. I heard Scott say 13 out of 17. Just to secure that hit. Kind of takes Thor out of the game. Now Maestro just has to move up, which is pretty dangerous. Gonna grab that. No, I think he's still holding the light from before. Yep. So that's a single token on Maestro. I think Thanos duplicates double token, and it feels like Ed, for most intents and purposes, has this game pretty well secured. Odin's going to be able to, I think, outmaneuver Maestro. Possibly. So if Odin charges in on Thanos duplicate and hits, oh, there must be some walls in the way. Can't quite. Make it. Ed's got to figure out, does he get Nico Minoru out of the threat range of Maestro? She has willpower, so she could TK herself away, sidestep away, or just move. But that'll double token her. Maestro also then has the option of just going after Thor and finishing Thor off, which still won't put Scott ahead, but it'll get him a step closer towards bringing this game in. If he can then maybe take out Nico Minoru and just stay out of Odin's range. The trouble is that Odin has power cosmic, and the duplicate's Indomitable, Maestro's Indomitable, so that he won't be too much on the back, but as far as like action efficiency goes throughout the rest of the game. And the combination of duplicate and Maestro might be enough to whittle down Odin over time. But we'll see what Ed does here. Moving Nico out of the threat range of Maestro. Maestro can't charge in. He can charge in on Thor. But duplicates double token, so Maestro is going to be able to hit something next turn. Ed's counting out his movements. Just trying to figure out a way to get Nico out of there. He wants to conserve his probability control and telekinesis, which is really going to be, I think, a big advantage for the rest of this game. Scott has access to Theme Team probability controls, but I don't think he hasn't used one yet. So yeah, Ed has chosen to get Nico out of there, saving his prob and TK. Thor's just a sit and duck though. Maestro's going to come in and smash. Yeah, I don't think there was any placement Ed had to put Nico to keep her out of danger as well as conserve the probability control. There's an attack being made. No attack being made. Oh, Thor must have had the evidence tokens. He's making a free attack with Thor. Thor has sidestep. Thor has sidestep, so it must be on click 4. Which doesn't quite get him away from Maestro. Thor taking a pot shot. Yeah, so 9 attack because he took that hit onto Maestro. Must have been because he missed. Just trying to get Maestro off of that charge. Yeah, because there's no reason to attack Thanos duplicate. Might as well go for the possible take charge. Maestro rolls leadership. Misses. It was a good move on Ed's part to use the evidence tokens to try and knock Maestro off a charge. Even rolling that 8 brought it up to a 17 now. Only a 17 in Maestro's 18 defense. Hands off a miss. Maestro throwing the light object. Hits for 2 damage. And yeah, off of that combat reflexes, which is a good move. KOs Thor. This is very resourceful of Scott. So yeah, now Maestro's double token though, and Ed has a chance of moving in on Thanos duplicate without. Maybe he doesn't. The charges can't quite. Can't quite get there. Might have to just move Odin up and adjacent. This game is quite a bit closer than it was with Nico double token, and with no access to sidestep because there's no opposing character within 4 squares. It's going to be difficult for Ed to have access to that probability control. So whatever he does with Odin, I think is just going to be a reposition. Um, he probably wants to take advantage of action efficiency right now with Maestro being double tokened and not having access to any way of getting a token removed. He's down for a turn, but he can't quite close the gap right now against Thanos duplicate. He's counting it out 5 squares. Nope. Maybe he's just gonna swoop in and grab heavy object. Let's see. Check Odin's. So 9, 12, 18, 5. So he can only charge for 5 squares. He's already used his free once per game range attack, and Thor's down, so his traits are offline. Basically, adjacent opposing characters can't be healed, can't use protected outwit, can't use stop clicks, which I don't think any of the opposing characters have. So Odin's just down to his baseline 9-click deep dial, sitting on charge, super strength, invincible leadership. So nothing to scoff at, but only having one viable attacker against Thanos duplicate and Maestro. It doesn't necessarily put him on a back foot, but he's got to be very careful about what he chooses to do as far as doing his best to move in and not fall vulnerable to overextending, right? If he bases Thanos duplicate to call out for an attack the next turn, Thanos could try and sidestep away, move away, force Ed to keep moving up, closing the gap. Ed's just choosing to move and snag up that object. That square is safe from any attack from Maestro, with him being double token. Thanos duplicate can only sidestep, not going to be able to find a line of fire. So this kind of puts the onus on Scott to close the gap and advance in points. So yeah, Odin is not going to lose charge anytime soon. And if things really get down to it and get nitty gritty, he gains access to flurry and probability control mid dial, which gives him a really solid threat. But he's gonna want to do his best to break through that impervious as soon as possible. And this is a really good move, I think, on Scott's part. He's body blocking Odin from being able to charge in and potentially like one-shot Maestro. Right? If he misses impervious, an attack for 7 would be just enough to kill him, kill Maestro, and then really just take Scott out of the game. So it looks like what Ed might do is reposition Nico for the prop and just go in for the KO on Thanos duplicate, which then forces the game into the not so uncapable hands of Maestro with 11-4, picking up an op. No, can't pick up an op. There's no super strike then. But yeah, Maestro will have a tough time with smashing through Odin's defenses by himself, especially if Nico's backing him up. So Ed's sitting on the heavy, option to use it. It's, I think he's counting out the positioning for Nico to move to be able to have the prob ends, be able to sidestep still, making sure that an opposing character is going to be within 4. There is Odin on the charge. One, two, three, four. He's carrying the heavy, but I doubt he's going to use it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He can't quite make it to Maestro, which I'm sure he'd love to be able to do that, but I think he's just gonna settle for. He's got to settle for smashing Thanos duplicate. Ed's got to figure out the best positioning to force Maestro into maybe stepping into line of fire for probability control. She's got Ed's got sidestep, so he can draw Nico into the fray. But I think he's got to. Ed's got to kind of position to that the square that is one below and one right. I think Thanos duplicate to have a chance, but Maestro's just going to come around the backside and not, that way Nico doesn't have access to prop or the line of fire for prop. Okay, he's choosing to just go straight in for it. 12 on a 17. I don't think he's going to be using the object. It's going to be a hit. Theme team prob with Thanos duplicate. Choosing to forego the prob. Oh, got to reroll. That would have been a crit. Thank goodness Ed crit miss. And that's a hit. And Odin hit for. Odin should have hit for 5. And Thanos would have taken 1, 2, 3, 4. I think Thanos duplicate should be KO. Unless I have the wrong Thanos duplicate pulled up. I think Thanos duplicate should be KO'd. Unless maybe Maestro perplex down the damage. This is an interesting development. Maestro, must have perplexed down the damage, which then I wonder why Ed didn't just use the heavy to finish Thanos duplicate off. If he wasn't going to KO him, maybe Ed wasn't sure of the length of Thanos duplicate style. That's slightly dangerous, I think. It puts Thanos duplicate on a 17, 7, 10, 17, 4. He's got probability control and running shot. One's invulnerable, so like whatever attack comes next should KO Thanos. And he has double token having used the theme team probability control. Instead of so he's got Nico out of sort of leadership with Maestro, misses, which is very fortunate for Ed. I believe Odin being double tokened right now puts him in a pretty vulnerable position. It looks like Maestro's going to go for the KO on Nico. But it won't even finish her off. I think 4 damage. Yeah, okay. So he picks up the light to add damage. Through the wall, picking up the object, swinging for 5 on Nico Minoru. This is a 11 on a 17. 12 on a 17. Ed will prob it. It'll hit, and that, I believe, will knock out Nico. Uh, um, Ed chose to use the Nico special of that's brilliant because Maestro missed probability control once per turn immediately after using it. You can choose to reroll the roll again and can't be further rerolled. If you do, after resolution, steal or one unavoidable damage. So she was going to be KO'd anyway. Instead, she's still sitting on that staff of 1 damage special. Her defense goes up 1, and she's got precision strike now, so she can attack. Sitting on willpower. That's huge for Ed. That is huge. You can see the way that Scott plays down the dice. It's a little frustrating for him. Having gone from being up on points and having 2 strong attackers to work through Odin's style now, he's still low. Odin's still around. Ed still has the prob. So that's a big swing, actually. Went from being a dead Nico to a slightly better Nico. Oh. Okay. So, yes. It looks like they did realize that Thanos duplicate was supposed to be KO'd off of that last turn's Odin's last turn Odin charged, attack Thanos duplicate. He's got a 12-5. Thanos duplicate has toughness. He would have taken 4 damage and been KO'd, but Scott only went down for 3. So Nico attacking Maestro with precision strike. Maestro theme team probability controlled it, and looks like it's gonna come down to a miss. Because Nico has a 10 attack and Maestro's sitting on an 18 defense. Breakaway sidestep succeeds. Just gonna dip back a bit, and Maestro's double token. Having used the theme team probability control to stay on the charge. Oh. And he's got the steel energy, so Ed really has to just get in and one shot Maestro. Maestro has to clear and perplex up the defense, I'm guessing. So he's sitting on a 19 now. Yeah, Ed was counting out to pick up the stoplights, grab the heavy, but he's already holding a heavy, so he's just got to charge in and hope that Scott doesn't roll some impervious to finish this game. And let's update Ed's points. Sitting on 1 save. That is a miss. 6, which would be an 18. He needs a 19, so he's got to roll a 7 here. He's going to prob it using Nico's special. So this is the last roll. And it's a hit for the impervious succeeds. So Nico takes 1 unavoidable for using that prob. And Maestro sits hard on that impervious. That's a really big D6 rollout for Scott. It seems Scott's playing 40 points under. These numbers wrong. Big Boss Hill is 85 points. No, Big Boss Hill is listed at 65 points on the HC Realms. So I'm not sure which one he's got listed on 85 points. on the sheet, 65 points listed on the realms page. So this could be a 20-point difference. I'm gonna assume that Scott knows what he's doing and has added his points correctly. He's figuring out how he's gonna proceed. Big Boss is for sure 85. All right, thank you. Yeah, it's listed as 65 on the HC Realms page. So it's gone up. I wondered, looking at like Scott playing 40 points under instead of 20. Attacking Odin for hits. Odin takes 2 through the invincible. And that puts him onto a 11-4 without wit though. So Scott can outwit the impervious now and just get some damage, and it'll put Maestro onto a flurry with the free attack, but it's only a 10, and he's got proud still. He wants to go for the glory. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Ed's trying to find a way to. He wants to breakaway charge, and I think he wants to position into being able to pick up that heavy to do the 6 damage. That would be enough if he outwits the impervious to KO Maestro in 1 shot. I think he's going to be rolling 11 against a 19. So he's got to reposition Nico to have the prop. Right? Oof. This is a really tough call because if Ed repositions Nico before the breakaway roll, I guess he can reposition her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so that he will still have line of fire to be able to prop before the breakaway or the attack. Which I think is what he's going to be doing. He's going to want to do that. So Odin doesn't fly, does not ignore, hindering. I think Ed's trying to figure out a way to go for the breakaway charge to pick up the heavy after outwitting the impervious to finish this game in 1 attack. Because if he doesn't, that gives Maestro 3 attacks next turn. 2 off the flurry and 1 off the free from his attack special. Now it's only 10, but it's the damage output is 3, so that's a potential 9 damage, which would, with Odin sitting on invulnerable, would just 1, 2, 3, would knock him onto like a flurry prop. But I think Ed just wants to finish this game as quickly as possible. Uh-oh. I might have missed something. Ed's got to break away. Okay, so he's got to break away to pick up the heavy. He's got to outwit. Ed is going to. He's going to outwit. Oh, outwits the impervious and just goes for the punch. No charge. Hits. Scott has access to theme team probability control, but does he want? Yep, he's going to double token Maestro. That's the 3rd use of theme team, so he's got 1 more. Odin misses because it's by 1. Perplex on the defense is a 19. That is a hit. That'll take Maestro down to. See, that's huge. Takes Maestro down to click 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, maybe click 5. So that would have been for 4 damage straight through impervious. Takes him down to click 5, but he's also double token. So I think this game is pretty much over. Nico going in for the finishing blow. That Misses by 1. Scott's got a turn to do free attack. Oh, he does have a free attack for 3 damage. Free attack with Steel Energy. Yeah, Maestro's got that trait, Steel Energy, traded Steel Energy. So it's a 10 on an 11 on an 18. No, 11 on a 17. That's gonna hit. It's 6. Rob is 7, so that hits for 3. That puts Nico. That KOs Nico. And puts Scott up to 120. And I think Odin is double tokened, and that's the game.